What if I told you that right now, while your outdoor garden sleeps under frost, you could be harvesting fresh vegetables from your kitchen counter in just 3 to 4 weeks? No fancy greenhouse, no expensive equipment. Just 7 surprisingly easy crops that most gardeners completely overlook. And honestly, number 5 grows so ridiculously fast, you'll think I'm making it up. Hey there, garden friends. Welcome back to Earthly Gardening, where we prove that growing your own food doesn't require draining your wallet or having a green thumb the size of Texas. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found us because today's video is going to change how you think about winter gardening forever. And to my returning viewers, you absolute legends, thank you for being here. You keep this channel alive, and I've got something special for you today. Now, before we dive into these 7 winter warriors, do me a quick favor. If you're serious about growing fresh food year-round without spending a fortune, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free, it helps the channel massively, and you'll get notified every time I drop new budget-friendly gardening secrets. Trust me, your future self who's munching on homegrown salad in February will thank you for it. Alright, let's get into this. Winter doesn't have to mean store-bought, flavorless vegetables. These 7 crops are about to become your cold season best friends. And I'm starting with one that'll blow your mind with how ridiculously simple it is. Veggie 1, microgreens. So, let's kick things off with something that sounds fancy but is honestly easier than making toast. Microgreens. Now, I know what you're thinking. Aren't those the expensive little leaves restaurants charge $15 for? Yes, exactly. And you're about to grow them for pennies. Here's what makes microgreens absolutely perfect for winter indoor growing. They're ready to harvest in 7 to 14 days. That's not a typo. 1 to 2 weeks from seed to plate. We're talking radish, mustard, broccoli, or sunflower microgreens that pack more nutrients per bite than their full-grown versions. The setup is almost laughably simple. Grab any shallow container, I'm talking old takeout containers, aluminum baking trays, even that random Tupperware missing its lid. Poke a few drainage holes if it doesn't have them. Fill it with about an inch of potting soil or even coconut coir if you want to save money. Sprinkle your seeds densely across the surface. We're going for a crowded dance floor vibe here, not a spacious ballroom. Press them gently into the soil, mist with water, cover with another tray or some plastic wrap to create humidity, and put them somewhere warm. After 2 to 3 days, when you see those seeds sprouting, remove the cover and move them to a bright windowsill or under a basic grow light. Keep the soil moist but not swimming, and in about 10 days, you'll have gorgeous, flavorful greens ready to snip with scissors. The best part? You can start a new tray every few days and have a constant rotation of fresh greens all winter long. No waiting months for a harvest. No complicated care routine. Just fast, nutritious food growing on your counter. Veggie 2, lettuce. Alright, number 2 is a game changer for anyone who's tired of paying $5 for a head of lettuce that goes slimy in 3 days. We're talking about loose-leaf lettuce varieties, and they're about to become your winter staple. Here's something most people don't realize. Lettuce actually prefers cooler temperatures. It doesn't want summer heat. So growing it indoors during winter when your house is a comfortable 65 to 70 degrees, that's lettuce paradise. Varieties like Butter Crunch, Red Sails, or Oak Leaf are absolute champions for indoor growing. Now, let me give you the setup that works without breaking the bank. You need containers at least 6 inches deep. Could be pots, could be a storage bin, could be a repurposed drawer planter. Fill them with regular potting mix, nothing fancy required. Sprinkle your lettuce seeds on top and barely cover them with soil. We're talking a 1/4 inch maximum because these seeds need some light to germinate. Water gently, keep them in a bright spot, ideally getting about 12 hours of light daily. If your windows aren't cutting it, a simple LED shop light hung a few inches above does wonders, and they cost like $15 to $20. Here's the beautiful part about loose-leaf lettuce. You don't wait for a full head to form. Once the leaves are about 4 to 6 inches tall, usually around 4 to 6 weeks, you start harvesting the outer leaves and let the center keep growing. This is called cut and come again harvesting, and it means one planting gives you salad for months. You're literally growing a salad bar in your living room. Keep the soil consistently moist, give them decent light, and watch your grocery bill shrink while your salad game strengthens. Hey, quick pause here. If you're finding this helpful and you can actually see yourself growing these indoors this winter, do me a solid and smash that like button. It tells YouTube that this content is valuable and helps other budget-conscious gardeners find this video. And drop a comment telling me which veggie you're most excited to try. I read every single one, and your comments help shape future videos. Alright, back to the good stuff. Veggie 3, spinach. Number 3 is for everyone who wants maximum nutrition with minimum fuss. Spinach. This leafy green is loaded with iron, vitamins, and all the good stuff your body craves, especially during those darker winter months when we're all trying not to survive solely on comfort food. Spinach is remarkably chill about growing indoors. It doesn't demand tropical heat, it's not picky about perfect conditions, and it grows at a nice, steady pace that gives you a harvest in about 6 to 8 weeks. Container-wise, think similar to lettuce. At least 6 inches deep, good drainage, standard potting soil. Spinach seeds are slightly bigger than lettuce, so you can space them about 2 inches apart or scatter them and thin later. Plant them about ½ an inch deep, water them in, and find them a bright home. Here's an insider trick that makes spinach even easier. It tolerates lower light better than lettuce. So if you've got a spot that gets decent but not amazing light, spinach won't complain nearly as much. A bright north-facing window or a spot that gets a few hours of direct light can work beautifully. The leaves are ready to pick when they're big enough to bother with, usually when they're about 3 to 4 inches long. Same deal as lettuce. Harvest the outer leaves and let the center keep producing. One planting can keep giving you fresh spinach for 2 to 3 months if you treat it right. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry. Don't let it completely dry out, but don't drown it either, and you're golden. Fresh spinach for smoothies, salads, or sautéing without paying absurd grocery store prices or dealing with that weird slimy bag situation that always happens. Veggie 4, green onions. Okay, number 4 is where things get a little bit magical, and honestly, if you're not already doing this, it's going to feel like a cheat code. Green onions, also called scallions, and they're probably the easiest thing on this entire list. Here's the wild part. You don't even need seeds. Next time you buy green onions from the store, don't throw away the white root ends. Just don't. Those things are pure potential. Cut off the green tops for cooking, leave about an inch of the white part with the roots attached, and stick them in a glass of water on your windowsill. Within days, you'll see new green shoots emerging. Within a week or 2, you've got harvestable green onions again. You can keep them in water indefinitely if you change the water every few days, or for a longer-term solution, plant those root ends in a pot of soil about an inch deep, leaving the top exposed. They'll establish themselves and keep producing green tops that you can snip whenever you need them. This is genuinely the vegetable that keeps on giving. One bunch from the grocery store can potentially give you fresh green onions for months. You're saving money, reducing waste, and always having that fresh onion flavor available for soups, tacos, stir-fries, whatever you're making. Bright light, keep them watered, and they're practically indestructible. If you want to expand your operation, you can start green onion seeds in small pots too. They grow quickly, and you can pack them fairly densely since they don't need a ton of space. This is one of those things that sounds too easy to be real, but I promise you it works beautifully. It's the gateway to indoor winter growing because the success is practically guaranteed. Veggie 5, radishes. Alright, we've reached number 5, and this is the one I mentioned at the beginning that grows so fast you'll think I'm exaggerating. Radishes. Specifically, smaller varieties like cherry belle or French breakfast radishes. These little root vegetables go from seed to harvest in 25 to 30 days. 3 to 4 weeks. That's faster than most people can finish a bag of chips. And we're not talking about tiny, sad radishes either. We're talking full-sized, crunchy, spicy radishes that taste exactly like what you'd get from a summer garden. The container requirement is simple but important. They need depth for the roots to form, so aim for containers at least 6 to 8 inches deep. Width doesn't matter as much. You can use a window box, a regular pot, whatever you've got lying around. Fill your container with loose, well-draining potting mix. Radishes hate compacted soil because they're trying to expand underground. Plant seeds about ½ an inch deep and space them roughly an inch apart. If you're doing rows, keep them about 2 inches between rows. Water them well and put them somewhere with decent light. A sunny windowsill works great, or supplemental lighting if your windows are limited. The growth happens fast. You'll see sprouts in just a few days. Keep the soil consistently moist, never letting it completely dry out, because inconsistent watering makes radishes woody and tough. Nobody wants that. In about 3 weeks, you'll start seeing the tops of those radish bulbs poking out of the soil. When they're about an inch in diameter, pull one up and taste it. If it's good, harvest the rest. If it needs more time, give it another few days. The speed of radishes makes them incredibly satisfying, especially if you're new to indoor growing and want that quick win to build confidence. Plus, you can succession plant, meaning you start a new batch every 2 weeks, and you'll have fresh radishes continuously throughout winter. Veggie 6. Arugula. Number 6 is for those of you who like a little attitude in your salads. Arugula, also called rocket, and it's got this peppery, slightly spicy flavor that makes boring salads interesting and adds serious character to sandwiches and pizzas. Arugula is phenomenally easy to grow indoors. It's fast, usually ready in about 4 to 6 weeks. It tolerates slightly lower light conditions, and it actually tastes better when grown in cooler temperatures. Hot weather makes it bitter and causes it to bolt, which means send up flowers and get all dramatic. But your comfortable indoor winter temperatures? Perfect. The setup is nearly identical to lettuce and spinach. Containers at least 6 inches deep, regular potting soil, nothing complicated. Scatter the seeds thinly across the soil surface and barely cover them. Maybe a 1/4 inch of soil. Water gently so you don't wash the seeds into one corner. Arugula germinates quickly. Usually within a week you'll see sprouts. Keep the soil moist and make sure they're getting at least 6 to 8 hours of light daily. A bright window or grow light works beautifully. Once the leaves are about 3 to 4 inches long, start your cut and come again harvesting. Snip the outer leaves. Leave the center to keep growing, and you've got yourself a perpetual arugula machine. The flavor is more intense than anything you'll buy at the store, and you're getting it at a fraction of the cost. One thing to note, arugula does bolt eventually, meaning it'll flower and stop producing good leaves. But that takes a while indoors, and even when it does, you just start a new planting. With how fast it grows, you can easily stagger plantings and never run out. This is a seriously underrated indoor crop that deserves way more attention. The flavor, the ease, the speed, everything about it works in your favor. Veggie 7. Herbs, parsley, and cilantro. And finally, number 7 is technically 2 plants, but they're so similar in care and so incredibly useful that I'm bundling them together. Parsley and cilantro. These herbs are absolute game changers for your cooking, and growing them indoors means you're never paying $7 for a bunch that wilts in your fridge before you use it all. Both of these herbs grow beautifully indoors during winter. They prefer cooler temperatures anyway, so your indoor environment is ideal. They're slower than some of the other crops we've talked about, taking about 8 to 10 weeks to reach a good harvesting size. But once they're established, you can keep snipping fresh herbs for months. Container-wise, they need decent depth since they develop good root systems. Aim for pots that are at least 8 inches deep. Regular potting mix works fine, though adding a bit of compost never hurts. Here's something important about starting these from seed. Both parsley and cilantro can be a little slow and stubborn to germinate. Soaking the seeds overnight before planting helps speed things up. Plant them about 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep, keep the soil moist, and be patient. It can take 2 to 3 weeks for them to sprout, so don't panic and think you did something wrong. Once they're up and growing, they need decent light, at least 6 hours of bright light daily, and consistent moisture. Don't let them dry out completely, but also don't keep them soggy. When the plants have several sets of leaves and are looking bushy, you can start harvesting. Always take from the outside and leave the center growth point intact. This encourages the plant to keep producing. Fresh parsley and cilantro elevate literally everything. Soups, tacos, salads, sauces, marinades, you name it. Having them growing on your windowsill means your cooking instantly becomes more vibrant and flavorful, and you're saving money while doing it. Alright, before we wrap this up, let me give you a few universal tips that'll make all of this even easier and help you avoid common mistakes. First, lighting. If your windows aren't super bright, don't stress. Basic LED grow lights are incredibly affordable now. You can find full-spectrum bulbs or simple shop lights that work perfectly for under $30. Hang them a few inches above your plants, put them on a timer for 12 to 14 hours a day, and you're mimicking natural daylight without any complexity. Second, watering. The biggest killer of indoor plants is overwatering, not underwatering. Most of these veggies want consistently moist soil, not waterlogged soil. Stick your finger an inch into the soil. If it feels dry, water. If it's still moist, wait. Get a feel for the weight of your containers when they're freshly watered versus when they're dry. That weight check becomes second nature quickly. Third, temperature. All of these crops are happy with normal indoor temperatures. You don't need to create some special climate zone. Regular room temperature between 65 and 75 degrees works beautifully for everything we've discussed. Fourth, containers and drainage. Whatever you're using as a container must have drainage holes. Sitting water equals root rot equals dead plants. If you're repurposing something that doesn't have holes, grab a drill or a nail and make some. Problem solved. And finally, don't overthink this. Gardening, even indoor gardening, is more forgiving than people think. Plants want to grow. Your job is just to give them the basics. Light, water, decent soil. They'll do the rest. So there you have it, friends. 7 winter vegetables that laugh in the face of cold weather and grow happily indoors while the outdoor world freezes. Microgreens for lightning-fast harvests, lettuce for continuous salads, spinach for nutritional power, green onions that practically grow themselves, radishes that'll blow your mind with their speed, arugula for that peppery kick, and herbs that'll transform your cooking. The best part about all of this? You don't need a huge budget, you don't need a lot of space, and you don't need years of experience. You just need a willingness to try and maybe a few containers and some potting soil. That's it. Winter doesn't have to mean dependence on expensive, often disappointing grocery store produce. You can take control, grow real food, and actually enjoy the process while you're at it. If this video helped you see that indoor winter growing is totally doable, please hit that like button and drop a comment telling me which veggie you're starting with first. Are you team microgreens for speed, team radishes for fun, or are you going all in with everything? I genuinely want to know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We're building a community of gardeners who believe that growing your own food should be accessible, affordable, and actually enjoyable. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss new tips, tricks, and budget-friendly gardening strategies. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep growing, keep learning, and remember that every expert gardener started exactly where you are right now. Happy growing, everyone!